It's going to continue to be soggy as we head into Sunday. Coming up, I'll take you hour by hour and show you where we'll find more rounds of storms.
He was killed while off duty and certainly has not been forgotten. How the community remembered Trooper Blake Tribby today at the Kentucky Wildcats game.
Families say goodbye to a Lexington mother and her unborn child and plead with the public for help finding her killer.
This is WKYT News at 6.
A rainy day in the Bluegrass. Thanks for watching WKYT on the CW Lexington. I'm Kristen Kennedy. The rain may be letting up for some, but there is still a chance of showers tonight. WKYT meteorologist Mike Linden is tracking those chances for us on the First Alert Defender.
That's right, Kristen. We are looking at some showers, but in some spots still looking at some heavy rainfall as our day moves on. The heaviest rain, we'll find that in southern Kentucky. Right now moving through Pulaski County, Laurel County, right along the I-75 South corridor, moving through the Waynesburg area and toward the Hal Rogers Parkway. That is where we're finding the biggest downpours, and in some spots in southern Kentucky since midnight have seen upwards of 2 inches of rain. That is a ton. Now we look to central and northern Kentucky, and while things are tapering off a little bit, notice how the storms are beginning to fill in a little bit along the same line that we saw them move over Lexington earlier. So we could see some additional rounds of rain there, but it's all part of this very slow moving cold front that continues to pretty much sit right on top of the Bluegrass, and that's going to continue to bring us more rounds of rain and storms coming up. I'll take you hour by hour, show you when that front will finally leave us, but before then, where we'll find additional rounds of storms. Kristen?
Mike, the UK football team had to play through some rain this afternoon. They are taking on New Mexico State out at Commonwealth Stadium. WKYT's Lee K. Howard has highlights from the first half.
Yeah, plenty of offensive highlights in this one, but the defense has been non-existent for the Wildcats through the first half of play. Drew Barker suffered a leg injury on the Wildcats' first drive, so backup Steven Johnson would run the offense for the Cats. He hands the ball off to Boom Williams, and that's a good idea because Boom goes 63 yards. That evens up the score at 7 apiece in the first quarter. Now, still in the first quarter, Johnson's going to find his tight end. He dumps it off to C.J. Conrad. Conrad makes his first reception of the season count. 72 yards down the sideline. It's knotted up at 14 all. You guessed it, New Mexico State would score once again, so Kentucky's offense trying to keep the Cats in it as well. Again, it's Johnson to Conrad over the middle, and he's in for 6, tied at 21 apiece. The game was tied at 28 with a minute to go before halftime. UK takes its first lead out of the Wildcat formation. Benny Snell runs it in to give UK a 35-28 lead. But guess what? NMSU, they tied it up once again at the end of the half. So at halftime, this game all knotted up at 35. We'll have more coming up a little bit later in sports. Kristen?
Lee K. Before today's game, the university honored a fallen member of the Kentucky State Police. Trooper Blake Tribby died in 2013, but only recently was his death recognized as being in the line of duty. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner is at Commonwealth Stadium covering Heroes Day in our top story at 6.
There are a lot of Cats fans here cheering them on against New Mexico State at Commonwealth Stadium. But while people honor our country before the game and sing My Old Kentucky Home, some special people were honored. Trooper Blake Tribby, a member of Kentucky State Police Post 8, was killed in a crash back in 2013 while off duty. He was heading to an accident in his personal car to help people on the side of the road when the wreck happened. Tribby died on scene, but it was said earlier this year that situation explains exactly who he was. Trooper Joe Wieneman has told us Tribby never acted like he was off duty. Today, his name and picture were shown in front of thousands of Cats fans, and coincidentally today marks an anniversary for Trooper Tribby.
6 years ago today, Blake and Cadet Class 88 graduated from the Kentucky State Police Academy, and during their graduation, the cadets always sing My Old Kentucky Home. And so 6 years later, while we wish Blake was here, it's special that he's being honored again while My Old Kentucky Home is being played.
It's now been more than 3 years since Trooper Tribby passed, and he certainly has not been forgotten. Today, his family is here along with his wife and her family. She tells me they shared a lot of memories here. Reporting from Commonwealth Stadium, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
Caitlin, thank you. This was a terrifying wake-up for a Lexington couple. Someone fired shots into their home around 5:30 this morning on Liberty Road near Winchester Road. Witnesses heard people arguing and then told police they heard shots. The gunfire caused a lot of damage inside one home. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain is talking to the woman who was sleeping inside.
Wind chimes are known as chance-based music. Their sound relaxing, peaceful. The melody of wind chimes played on the front porch of a Lexington home. But peace was not felt or heard for the homeowners this morning.
He just screamed, get up, the house is being shot at.
Around 5 o'clock this morning, Kathy Tillett says her husband heard 4 gunshots, at least 3 of the bullets striking their home.
A very rude awakening. A very rude.
Kathy believes her home was struck by chance. She said someone was just driving down Dallas Avenue onto Liberty Road when the shots were fired.
When I walked to the front door, there was broken glass everywhere. And they had shot through a picture that was hanging on my wall, and it traveled all the way through my house and hit another hole in the back wall. My husband said the bullet traveled about 50 feet.
Kathy is just glad no one was hurt in the shooting.
A bullet coming through your house is not what you're expecting, right? It disturbs the peace for you, but like I say, I just said a few prayers and I'm not worried about it. I'll patch up the holes.
And despite her scary wake-up call this morning, Kathy has no intentions of leaving a home she says will soon, once again, be her place for rest and peace. In Lexington, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Witnesses told police a small silver car was in the area at the time of the shooting. Officers are still searching for the car and the shooter. As police continue to search for the person who killed a Lexington mother, her family and friends are saying goodbye. Someone shot and killed Mariah Coleman and her unborn child a little more than a week ago. WKYT's Sabira Rayford attended today's emotional funeral service.
Dozens of people gathered today at Consolidated Baptist Church to say their goodbyes to Mariah Coleman and her unborn child, Jacoby. The 22-year-old was shot and killed a little more than a week ago while walking her dog on Winburn Drive. She was 8 months pregnant. Doctors delivered baby Jacoby but were unable to save him. Since the shooting, the family has been looking for answers as to what happened that night. Police say they have little to work on, but the Coleman family says they are certain someone in the neighborhood witnessed something. Earlier today, Consolidated Baptist Church held Coleman's wake and funeral. The family says today is about honoring the fun-loving person Coleman was. Police are still investigating what happened that night.
We know there's still a murderer out there, so no one should feel comfortable. Everybody should be uncomfortable right now until this murderer is found.
The family says they are actively searching for Mariah and Jacoby's killer. In Lexington, Sabir Rayford, WKYT.
The family has set up a tip line. Lexington police are also requesting tips on that case. In Franklin County, a man on a motorcycle is in the hospital tonight after police say he led them on a 2-county chase. The chase started around 10 this morning in Woodford County near Versailles High School. State police say a trooper tried to pull the driver over, but he sped off into Franklin County. We're told police there set up a roadblock and that the motorcyclist got around it and then crashed on an on-ramp to I-64.
As the motorcycle was taking the ramp to try to get onto the interstate, he lost control of his bike. He slammed on the brakes of his motorcycle, and this caused the cruiser to rear-end his rear tire.
A tow truck operator hauled the trooper's cruiser away as part of the investigation. State police say the motorcyclist is at the hospital with minor injuries. Right now, we don't know his name or what charges he's facing. Investigators have arrested 2 more women they say tried to kill a man in Pulaski County. Shania Brooks Jackson and Dove Gardner are charged with attempted murder and some other charges. Deputies say the 2, along with 2 other women, lured a man who wanted to buy marijuana into a heavily wooded area. They say the 4 then assaulted, robbed, and left him out there. 20-year-old Kendall Elliott turned herself in. Deputies are still looking for Autumn Coleman. A man is dead and 2 police officers are on leave after a deadly shooting in western Kentucky. State police say overnight in Owensboro, 29-year-old Lucas Anderson put a knife up to a woman's throat. Anderson, we're told, then charged at the officers who tried to calm him down. They shot him. State police say the officers involved are on paid leave pending an investigation. Coming up on WKYT on the CW Lexington, the reason for this morning's flight delays out of Bluegrass Airport.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Mike Linden.
Ugly. That's the best way to describe what we've seen today. And no, I'm not talking about what's going on at Commonwealth Stadium. I'm talking about the weather. It has been just a soggy day here in the Commonwealth, and we are looking at more moisture sticking around through the evening hours, especially so in southern Kentucky, Pulaski County, and right now the Laurel County area moving through the southern tip of Lincoln County, just getting pummeled by this heavy rainfall. Some southern Kentucky spots have seen more than 2 inches of rain since midnight. That's a ton of rain. Now in northern and central Kentucky, right now moving into Harrison County, we are trying to see this line here beginning to fill in a bit. So we could still be looking at some more heavy rain in central and northern Kentucky, although the largest mass of the rain still is again over the south. It's all part of this cold front that's just moving so slowly eastward. But as warm air continues to surge northward from the Gulf of Mexico, it's just feeding those thunderstorms from Toronto all the way along that front into the Gulf of Mexico. Here in Kentucky, we'll work our way through the evening here on the hour-by-hour forecast. This is right around 8 o'clock this evening. What we will really see here will be active weather over southern and southeastern Kentucky. So this goes along with what we're seeing right now, but notice this is midnight. So that front not going anywhere. More rounds of rain as we head into the early morning hours of Sunday, and that will stick around, especially for those southern Kentucky spots, moving into Sunday afternoon as well. So that front taking its dear sweet time to push out to the east of us, and by Monday, outside of a few wraparound showers, things are going to get better. So one big hurdle to get over, and then your work week looks pretty good. Thursday, by the way, the first day of autumn, but it's not going to look like it nor feel like it. Going to go right back to a summer-like pattern Friday and into next weekend. So kind of bookended by some pretty ugly days here on the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, very similar to what we have seen today, although mainly we'll see those storms in southern and southeastern Kentucky. And then we pretty much spend all work week long, Kristen, with really good looking conditions. Temperature's a little warm, but then things start to look and feel more like summer next weekend. So Mother Nature can't make up her mind.
If we can get through tomorrow, it's going to look pretty nice.
Especially for almost the entire work week.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Travelers taking off from Bluegrass Airport had some delays this morning. Leaders there say a broken piece of TSA baggage screening equipment is to blame. One flight leaving Lexington took off about 40 minutes late, and we're told most flights took off just 10 to 15 minutes later than scheduled. No word on how long it'll take workers to repair the equipment. Lee K's back in now with the latest on the UK-New Mexico State game.
Well, not much has changed. It's been halftime. We're now into the third quarter, and it's been a shootout so far at Commonwealth Stadium. And earlier in the day, Louisville made a statement with an impressive win over Florida State. Those highlights as well next in sports. Kentucky football returning home for week 3 to host New Mexico State. This game not so much for the fans, but for the team and their confidence after an 0-2 start. Mark Stoops heard the chatter this past week, taking over more defensive play calling responsibilities. Following an interception on UK's first possession, the Aggies going deep. Jonathan Boone to Tyler Rogers, 35 yards for the New Mexico State touchdown. Now, Drew Barker suffered a leg injury on the Wildcats' first drive, so backup Steven Johnson would run the offense. And he does a good thing here. He hands the ball off to Boom Williams. Boom's headed down the sideline, 63 yards to even up the score. Offense was looking good, but the Aggies had the answer right back with a trick play this time. Tyrone Taylor, halfback pass to Jonathan Boone, all alone in the end zone. NMSU regains the lead at 14-7. Yeah, not happy in the stands. Still in the first. Johnson dumps it off to his tight end, C.J. Conrad. Conrad makes his first reception of the season count. 72 yards down the sideline. We're knotted up again at 14. Following another Aggies touchdown. Again, it's Johnson to Conrad over the middle and in for 6. Tied at 21 apiece. Now the game was tied at 28 with a minute to go in the half. Benny Snell takes the snap out of the Wildcat formation, and he's in for his second touchdown of the game. We look at the score here, unbelievable. Just early in the third quarter, all offense, no defense, tied at 35 apiece. Well, Louisville found itself on the national stage following 2 wins to start the season. ESPN's College Game Day even made its first ever appearance in the Cardinal country today for a top 10 matchup against Florida State. Cardinals quarterback Lamar Jackson trying to throw his name into the hat for the Heisman Trophy. I believe he did today. First quarter, Louisville up 7-0. Jackson keeps it and runs it in for the 14-yard touchdown. Cardinals led 14-0. Louisville had a 35-10 lead at the half. Third quarter off the Florida State punt, Jair Alexander weaving through the Seminoles for the touchdown, 42-10 Louisville. Fourth quarter, guess who? Lamar Jackson keeping it again, 47 yards for the touchdown. Can you say Heisman moment? 146 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns for Jackson as the Cardinals destroy Florida State, 63-20. EKU was back on the road and back at the FBS level visiting Ball State. Ball State was cooking early. Riley Neal rolls to his right, finds Devin Reese. That's a touchdown, 7-0 Ball State. After forcing an EKU punt, Cardinals back in the red zone. Neal going to keep it himself this time. 12 yards up the middle, stretching it across the goal line, 14-0. Meanwhile, the Cardinals still trying to find some offense. Benny Coney passing on 3rd and 10. Pass is intercepted. Boom goes the dynamite. EKU's offense never really got going in this one. Fourth quarter, it is 41-14 Ball State. Home opener for Kentucky State and an angry John L. Smith and the Brads hosting Virginia State. Second quarter with Virginia State up 7-0. Kayvon Bellamy busts loose down the sideline, 30-plus yard carry. That sets up this Virginia State. Bellamy and the finish to get the 1-yard touchdown run, 13-0 Trojans. Later on in the second, Stephen Mimes trying to extend the Trojan lead but loses the football, and Keontae Reynolds recovers for Kentucky State. However, a 67-yard touchdown from KSU's Demetrius Anderson in the third would not be enough as Virginia State wins 20-7. Ohio has never beaten a ranked team. That streak would hold up today, but just barely, visiting Tennessee. Third quarter, Vols up 14-12. Joshua Dobbs, play action fake to the right, runs it left for the 13-yard touchdown run. Vols up 21-12. Fourth quarter, Vols leading 21-19. Dobbs finds Josh Malone wide open for a 20-yard touchdown. Tennessee gets the win, 28-19. The Vols' 9th straight win dating back to last season. Vandy visiting Georgia Tech. After Tech scored on its first possession, Vandy in the red zone. Kyle Shermer hooks up with Chandler Doral. That's a 10-yard touchdown there. The score was tied at 7 early on. Next Georgia Tech possession, though, Dedrick Mills. He's going to take it 15 yards to the house. Tech takes back the lead, 14-7. The Yellow Jackets run away with this one, 38-7. Busy day for football, Kristen. The Wildcats have to find some defense.
All offense, no defense.
Yeah, you eventually have to stop somebody and then score more points. That's how you win a ball game.
We will be right back with a final look at weather. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is $244 million, and Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $15 million. Still looking at some chances of storms.
Oh yeah, especially in southern and southeastern Kentucky. That's where things are going to continue to be messy here over pretty much the evening and right on into Sunday morning. The 7-day forecast, on the other hand, I mean, it's bookended by some pretty ugly days, but look at the middle there. Mostly sunny from Monday, pretty much right up and through Thursday. Of course, we are winding down the summer season here. The first day of fall is this Thursday, but Mother Nature can't make up her mind. It's going to look and feel more like summer for the beginning of autumn than autumn. I know that's a lot of seasons kind of all thrown in there, but we just have to get through tomorrow. Some stormy weather in southern and southeastern Kentucky, but the start of the work week looks great. And then things, once again, take a turn for the stormy next weekend.
Hope you'll join us on WKYT at 11 o'clock tonight. See you then.